I must wait a moment.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be showcasing for you guys my second Gauntlet build for this season, and this one is my hardcore shred pulverize hybrid build. Now, I had wanted to get this build out to you guys sooner, preferably right when the Gauntlet had released, but unfortunately I had a few setbacks, so it took me some time to get the character back to level 100, but we now have a fresh level 100, and as you guys seen from that gameplay footage, we managed to get ourselves a nice score of 750k plus points, which puts us at rank 4 currently on the hardcore leaderboards for Druid. Now, as always, all that gameplay footage you've seen at the beginning of the video was done without any uber uniques, any unique tuning stones, no elixirs, and obviously we didn't have a shrine going into the Gauntlet. Also, our pathing was quite off on that run, and there's definitely a lot more points on the table, especially if we do go back and get those previously mentioned items and utilize those in the Gauntlet. Also, if you guys are interested, I went ahead and attached that complete run to the end of the video, so that way you guys could see exactly what I did in the Gauntlet, so maybe you could recreate it or even do better than I did. But now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's go ahead and go over the build real quick. So for our assigned skills, we're using Pulverize, Shred, we're grabbing up the ultimate Petrify, and then also all three of the companions, because this will have shepherds in the build. Then on our spirit boons, we're using Weariness on the Deer, we're spirit bonded into the Eagle, and we're picking up the Iron Feather for more max life, as well as Avian Wrath for more critical strike damage multiplier. However, you can swap out Iron Feather when you're playing softcore. I like this for hardcore, just so that way my character doesn't die, obviously. And then on the Wolf, we're picking up Energize. Even though it's completely terrible, there's nothing else here we can use. And then on the Snake, we're going to be getting Calm Before the Storm, so we can reset our ultimate that much faster, so we can utilize that to pull enemies closer to us and get as much out of our double point shrines as we possibly can with our ultimate. Now down to our equipment, we're using Godslayer on the helmet, but the best in slot helmet here would be a Harlequin Crest, aka a Shaco. However, as this is a fresh 100 hardcore character, I don't have that uber unique, and I know a lot of people don't have that uber unique, so if you do have a really good Godslayer crown, it is perfect for this build. For the chest armor, we're using Insatiable Fury. On the gloves, we're using the Aspect of Earthsign Horror. On the pants, we're using Tibo's Will. On the boots, we're using the Aspect of Metamorphosis, and this is pretty much the meta for the Gauntlet. You have to have a Metamorphosis aspect. It really helps you move incredibly fast, and it keeps up your Unstoppable, so that way you don't have to run something like Trample if you don't want to. On our weapon, we're using the Shockwave aspect, and we're also going to be using a two-handed staff, so we buff up our Earth and Devastation legendary node, because we're going to be getting most of our damage from critical hits, and this will help boost up our critical damage multiplier. On our amulet, we're running the Shepherd's aspect. On our ring, we're running the Aspect of Retaliation. Now, here's another substitute. The best in slot item here would be the Ring of Starless Skies, but again, fresh 100, no uber uniques. The best thing I would go with is the Aspect of Retaliation. And then for our second ring, Erida's Inexorable Will. And this is a great ring for the Gauntlet. It really helps pull all the enemies into close quarters. And then you burn them down quite quickly, especially if you have a shrine up. You'll just destroy everything and you'll get a ton of points. And the main reason we can maximize our double point shrines. Now onto the affixes on our gear. For our gloves, we're running Ranks of Pulverize, Critical Strike Chance, Attack Speed, and Ranks of Shred. On our boots, we're going to be running Movement Speed, Shrine Buff Duration, Movement Speed for 4 seconds after killing an elite, and all stats. On our weapon, we're running Willpower, all stats, Critical Strike Damage, and damage to controlled enemies. On our amulet, we're running Movement Speed, Increased Movement Speed for 4 seconds after killing an elite, ranks of the Quick Shift passive, and then also the Shrine Buff Duration affix, which is pretty much the go-to affix for Gauntlet. You have to have it on your amulet and your boots if you plan to actually be competitive. Then for our ring, we're running Crit Strike Chance, Crit Strike Damage, Vulnerable Damage, and Max Life. Now, if you're not playing hardcore, go ahead and roll off that Max Life for another damage affix, probably Vulnerable Damage. Now down to our gems, we're running Emeralds on the weapon, Rubies on the armor, and then Skulls on the jewelry. For our Seneschal construct, we have Tempest running Efficiency support, Swift support, and Resource support. And then for Flash of Adrenaline, we're running Tactical support, Duration support, and Initiative support. Down here on our summary is just a few little swaps we can make if we do have those items. So for your Uber Unique, swap your helm, like I said, for a Harlequin crest if you have it. Swap your Ring of Retaliation for a Starless Skies ring if you have it. And then on the Seneschal construct, swap Swift support for Evernight. And then swap Initiative support on the Flash of Adrenaline ability for Genesis. Now for our skill tree, we're going 1 point Claw into Enhanced Claw, but that's really just to unlock our core skill tree, where we're picking up 5 points of Pulverize into Primal Pulverize and 5 points of Shred into Primal Shred. Then we're also grabbing 1 point Predatory Instincts and 3 point Digigrade Gate. Moving down to our defensive tree, we're just going to be picking up 2 points Ancestral Fortitude. Then down to our companions, we're grabbing 1 in Wolves, 1 in Poison Creeper, and then 1 point Ravens into Brutal Ravens. Now down to our Wrath tree, we're grabbing 1 point Mending and 1 point Provocation just so we can start out the Gauntlet with a nice overpower attack on the first boss. Then we're grabbing up 3 points Crushing Earth, 3 points into Stone Guard, as well as 2 points into Safeguard. We're also going to pick up 1 point Neurotoxin, 1 point Toxic Claws because we will still use Shred, and then 3 points in Venom. And then down to our ultimate tree, we're picking up 3 points Defiance, 3 points Natural Disaster, as well as 3 points in Resonance. And then for our last passive tree, we're grabbing 3 points Quick Shift and then 3 points Heightened Senses. And then last but not least, for our key pass, we're using Bestial Rampage because they went ahead and buffed up that damage multiplier, and it is a massive 50%, so it's almost a must-have in terms of running a build like this. Now onto our Paragon boards. On the first board, we're running Outmatch, and we are going to be picking up a little extra health here, something you can leave off if you're running in Softcore. Up to our second Paragon board, this is going to be Earth and Devastation with Shapeshifter slotted in the Glyph slot. And again, we are going to pick up the Legendary node to get that big critical damage multiplier off of our damage to crowd-controlled enemies bucket. Then to our third board, that's going to be the Inner Beast board, and we're slotting in the Territorial Glyph here, as well as picking up the Inner Beast Legendary node, so we get that nice spirit cost reduction while we shapeshift back and forth between Werewolf and Werebear. On to our fourth board, this is going to be the Ancestral Guidance board, and we're slotting in Fang and Claw here in the Glyph slot, and we are going to pick up the Legendary node Ancestral Guidance to get that big multiplicative damage bonus after using 75 Spirit. On to our fifth board, this is the Survival Instincts board, and we're going to be slotting in the Exploit Glyph here, so that way we get vulnerable up on enemies as soon as we hit them. And we are going to be picking up Survival Instincts to get that big multiplicative damage bonus dependent on the health difference between us and the enemies we're attacking. Then on to our sixth board here, that's the Constricting Tendrils board, and we're going to be slotting in the Spirit Glyph here, and then picking up as many Dexterity nodes surrounding the Spirit Glyph as we can with our leftover Paragon points. But that's really it for the video, guys. I hope you guys have been enjoying the Gauntlet as much as I have since its release. However, if you do find yourself struggling, go ahead and give this build a try, because as you guys seen from the gameplay footage, we cracked 750k pretty easily, and we didn't even have an elixir on at the time, and I think with an optimal run, we could probably get somewhere around the neighborhood of 820 to 830k pretty easily. Also, this build does set you up quite well if you do plan on transitioning into the Shred build, which is the more meta build for the season. However, it typically requires a lot more investment in terms of Uber Uniques and Unique Tuning Stones to really pump that damage up so you can have nice smooth runs, especially early on, killing those first couple bosses in the Gauntlet. But as always, if you have any questions, go ahead and post them down in the comments section. And if you see me streaming, go ahead and stop on by and ask your questions there. I want to be glad to answer them. Now I'm going to go ahead and get back to grinding some of that Gauntlet. But as always, guys, I hope you're having a great day or a great night, depending on wherever you're from. And peace out, guys. I will see you in the next one.
I'm not ready yet. ready yet. I must wait a moment. I must wait a moment. I must wait a moment.